It was not until the small hours of the morning that Henry McLean had finished the cleaning and reassembly of his power pistol that had lain buried deep these 20 years. It was only then, when he put the Energizer coil into the thick handle, that he found his right hand suddenly white-knuckled on the pistol, the heel of his left hand resting where he had slapped it in, as he would have done with a fresh reserve coil, in combat, as a soldier of God. For a moment it all came back, the sound of weapons, the smell of burning buildings, and the dying militia soldier, that one time, who had taken a burst of needles in his throat, who begged him, with gestures, to hold his bloodless hands together and be his voice in a final prayer before death. For a moment he paused, bowed his head, and put the edges of his joined hands for a moment against the edge of the table. God, he prayed, he is like a son, like Joshua, and like Will, who is in thy arms now. I love him equally. Thou knowest why I must do this. He sat for a moment more, then parted his hands again and raised his head. He had mastered the image in the long-dead reflex, risen from the grave of memory. They were gone. He put the pistol with its shoulder rig into his suitcase, with what few other possessions he was taking. Only a little later, before he left, Henry stopped in the pre-dawn darkness of the kitchen to leave on the kitchen table a letter to Joshua and Joshua's family, a single sheet of paper on which he told them where he was going, that all that had been his was now theirs, and that he loved them. Then, soundlessly, in his stocking feet, and carrying his boots and suitcase, he went to the front door, opened it, and let himself out, softly closing it again behind him. He stood on the top of the 3 wooden steps for a moment, before putting his boots on. It was the end of the brief few days of spring here, on the planet of association, under the star of Epsilon Eridani, after the long, long, rainy winter, and before the mounting heat of the equally long summer. There had been only a brief shower during the night. Now the air was still, and in that moment on the top step he felt the cool, pleasant dampness that would soon pass away. Dawn was just below the horizon, but a whiteness from the east had already washed the stars from the cloudless sky overhead. About him lay the gray earth with its fields already tilled and sown. Epsilon Eridani's light, even from just below the horizon, made everything seem to stand out, strangely clear and three-dimensional. Even a puddle in the trodden earth about the steps made a clear and perfect mirror,